All right, now here we are again from the inside out with Ronnie on the spot, Chris Curtis, and the Sam. So, for the last time, and this is the absolute last time, I'm going to address the issue with Dubs, and then I'm going to address some of the statements with the ride and all of that, and some things that were said. Okay, so last night's get down was just to straighten out the whole thing with Dubs and his denial and all of that, what he did say. And so that's that. I went on there, did that. I took what he said in his own words and let him tell you who he was. Okay. There are people that listen, said, yeah, that's who he is. And then there's others that said, I know what he said, but that ain't what he meant. And he's this, that, and everything. Okay, look, I can hear you talking around his nuts. Basically, that's just where it's at. And I don't expect, and look, hey, commendable for being so loyal to that dude and his little crew or whatever. And I'm just not impressed with him or anything. So, and then it was said, Ronnie, were you ever SNY? Let me answer that question, all right? It's kind of a weird trip, and I embrace anything and everything I do, okay? I got out 13 years early based on a new law. If you Google my name, you'll see that I was charged as an LR member and everything. And the robbery, the attempted murder, the whole thing that went down, you'll see all of that. And the 25 pounds of meth that sent me to the feds, that's in there too. And all the gang charges. I got resentenced because I was in the United States Army military. It wasn't taken into account when I did get sentenced, and California passed a new law. And so I was working to get myself out of prison. And here's how it went. As I dropped down in levels, you get to a level 2, and guess what? All the yards, level 2 yards, were flipped to 50-50 yards. Well, what is a 50-50 yard? In the eyes of everybody that was active, that's an SNY yard. So that's the way it was looked at. But you know what? Here was the deal. You're on that yard, they flip it, you're supposed to get off and leave within a certain amount of time, and that's everybody's. That's the way the rules were. But you know what happened? People were going over to these 50-50 yards, and they weren't going back, and they weren't getting off. And the fellows were going, look, we're losing every fucking buddy, because they wanted to go home. All right. So now they got this thing in place, go over there and hang out, try to go home and do whatever so they don't have to lose people. All right. I just did that because I don't answer to nobody. When I hit level 2 and they start turning into 50-50 yard, I was working my way home, and I embraced it, and I stayed there, and I stayed writing programs, and I didn't get off on nobody. And I got out early, and I'm happy about it. But guess what? I'm a writer. All right. I'm a new low writer. Okay, that's what NLR means to me now, and I'm putting that all together. And why am I doing that? Okay, the whole thing with anybody dictating to us what we had to do never sit well with me. All right, I never ran up in there and started disrespecting people and the whole fuck them and all of that. It just wasn't my nature, and I knew that the ride wasn't built to handle a war with those dudes because they would outthink the ride. The ride was too young, too inexperienced. Okay. And that proved to be true. But here's what set me into the dropping the Nazi and adopting the NLR as the new lowriders. We had a lot of Mexicans in the ride. We did. And we had a handful of Native Americans in the ride. And some people got it a while hair up their ass that we were going to strip them dudes. And they started stripping those cats that had earned their letters. And in some cases, put more work in than the white dudes that wore those letters, that were calling for them to be stripped. I didn't like that at all either. All right. So a lot of things happened. And I didn't like the idea that any tip would have to look for another for validation. Period. Nobody validates us. No other tip says you're a tip or you're not a tip. We are who we choose to be, whether or not anybody else sanctions it or agrees with it or not. And then people said they told us to close our books, and we did. Never happened. They might have said they closed their books, but they never did. It's just what it is. Real quick, that was somebody from prison calling in, because you know what? Unlike a lot of people, I got out and kept my word to my brothers. I said I was going to do things for, and I do things for them because I'm not a liar and a piece of shit. All right. I get out and I do it. So I got my programs going back into prisons and all that going on. In any event, here's the deal. All right. So the new lowriders, we dropped the Nazi. That whole racial twist is kind of gone. We're new lowriders, and I'm embracing any comrades that used to be part of that other trip that want to come over to the new lowriders and get down the way we get down now. You know what I mean? Then come on with it and become NLR new lowrider. It's just that. And how can I do that? I can do it because I want to. I'm a senior member. Branch off and do what the fuck I want. Period. Remake it any way I want to. All right. And that's what I'm doing. And you know, and I'm gonna get away with it. Okay. So when I'm in the level twos, I want to go home. Where it comes down to, you're over there, you need to fucking hit somebody within so much time. But check this out. If the word didn't come from the ride, I don't give a fuck. And who's above me in the ride to tell me I got to do anything a certain kind of way? I've been a rider a very, very long time. Okay? So there's that. See, I'm not like Dubs. I'm not going to duck the question, and I'm not going to act like it wasn't me or anything like that. I was trying to go home. Now, did I run into an office and say, hey, you got to get me off the yard? I'm scared. Never happened with me. In the feds, I walked out of Leavenworth. All right. In the state, when I eventually paroled, I walked out of New Folsom off a B yard, and it was going through these transitions. They tried to make it a level 2, turned it back into a level 4. When it turned back into a level 4, I was already ready to go home and resentenced. I would ride all of that out. Didn't matter to me. I was going home. Period. Well, you know what? All right, company, go be miserable. That ain't my get down. All right. And the best way that I could help my brothers was to get out and do things to help them get out. Okay. People say, well, the ride is hide. It's the hide the ride fucking program. Not true. Not true. I had somebody go on there and comment and say, yeah, they're checked in the feds and all of that. You got shit fucked up. NLR is deep in the fucking feds, and they're in every goddamn state, period. Every freaking state they're in, and they're recruiting big time. That's just the way it works. So much so that in Leavenworth, I got called into the Texas AB cells one time. They sent me word out, hey, tell Ronnie to come see us. And I went in, there's all the homies, and I'm going to have one on here who's out now, he started up a bike club, and he was there when I walked out of Leavenworth, and he was there the day this happened. I walked by them all, and they're all like, you good, homie, you good? Now I'm straight, because, you know, this is Texas AB. So I go in there, and apparently NLR in Lewisburg was snatching cops in the program and stabbing them through the tray slot. And the AB got at him and said, hey, you guys need to stop fucking hitting cops. And those dudes up there got back at them and told them, what you need to do is quit sucking dick and start hitting cops, motherfuckers. Because little does people know that in the feds, they're just another tip. They're just another tip. And if it wasn't for NLR, SAC would have wore them motherfuckers out in Victorville. They were taking Big Mark and Terry out of the fucking box there. And if it wasn't for NLR jumping up and saving those dudes, they would have been done right there. They're just another tip. All them gangs throughout the federal system, all them gangs throughout the U.S. are there. And you think those dudes are punk? No. No, they're getting after them. So in California, they can be what they want to be, right? And respect everything they've done, because I've followed them for for a long, long time. And I know what they're about. And those dudes are vicious, they're smart, and they got control over that system. So that's theirs, they can have it. I'm out here now. I'm doing something different. We're dropping the Nazi part of it. We're going to be NLR, which is a new lowrider. And we're going to do something different. We're going to do something better. And we're going to do something that you can look your brother in the eye and be proud of. And so guys want me to get on here and say that I identify with the penitentiary NLR, Nazi lowrider, get down, because they'd like to see me get on here and sign myself up for a fucking another gang charge. It's not going to happen. We're new lowriders. We're doing nonprofits. We're helping people get out of prison. We're helping people stay out of prison, and we're helping kids not go to prison in the first place. And if you can't get behind that, get off this fucking page. We don't need you. We just don't need you. And as far as Dubs goes, he disrespected the ride. and he disrespected riders, and he disrespected some of my comrades and brothers. And I reacted and responded to that, right? But at the end of the day, people say, oh, yeah, you're just like him. No, I'm not. I make these videos and responded to them because you know what? They generate views. Do you know what views generate? Views generate funding. Do you know what the funding generates? Funding generates my ability to get these dudes, help these dudes get out, help them stay out, my ability to help youngsters rebuild cars, my abilities to help the youth avoid going to prison in the first place. So if I got to get on there and talk a little poop about a piece of poop to be able to help a whole bunch of good people, that's what I'm going to do. And no, trust and believe. I don't just help whites. I help blacks. I help Mexicans. I help Native Americans. I help Asians. I help Cubans. I help every race there is. I see none of it when I go in there with my programs. And I help them get out. So if you're watching this and you're doing, I'll tell you what, hit subscribe, hit like, hit hype. Do all of the above. All right? Because the chances are and the odds are that if you got friends that are in the California system, I'm getting ready to go to the federal system too. I got somebody getting me in there. But if you got friends that are in the California system, the odds are pretty good that my programs are going to be helping them get to board and get out, period. So if you love your brothers, the ones you hugged and made promises to on your way out that you haven't kept the promises to, if you love them, you would support what I'm doing. This is another way to keep your promise, all right? I, for one, do keep my promises. I told about 5 dudes that, you know what, I got you, Holmes. I'll send something back into you. Don't worry about it. You know, I could have did that once and sent 100 here or 50 there and all of that and been done and had kept my word, but I keep on doing it. It's not just a one-time shot. Now, I'm going to address the SNY issue, okay? I want to tell you about SNY, all right? Period. More violent than the main line now, okay? They're getting off over there. They're killing over there. And they're getting it, man. And while on the 50-50 yard, while it was turning 50-50, they started bringing these 2-5ers in, all right? And 2-5ers are there. This is all of it. And I'm in this gang building 50-50 spot, right? And this dude, TJ, who was a porter, kept fucking with this 2-5er named Solo, right? And I tell TJ, you need to leave that 2-5er alone. That's a dangerous dude, man. And don't assume just because he's coming from one of that situation right there that this dude's a punk. Don't assume that he won't do some bad things to you. And I was able to get TJ off of that dude a couple of times and smarten off to him, but TJ had a fucking monkey on his back and Solo was slinging shit and whatnot. And I stepped back out of the way because it's really not my business. You know, I just tried to save the dude's life. And it wasn't long before Solo killed him. You know, they killed him. You had another 2-5 out here in LA, I guess it was recently, that killed some active member out there. I mean, so those dudes ain't punks. Just because they were in SNY, you're assuming they're punks, or because they were on a 50-50 yard, you're gonna assume they're punks. Well, you ain't never been nowhere. You ain't never been nobody. Because those dudes can tap into whatever demon sent them crazy on the line. A lot of them are over there with a foul taste in their mouth, thinking that they got sent over there done wrong to get there. And a lot of them have, and so they're over there with a foul taste in their mouth, and they're putting together these tips, and they're pushing back. So I, for one, will never say, oh, you were an SNY, so you're a punk, or you weren't SNY, so you're good. Every one of those dudes that are in SNY, that are making them gangs and stuff now and all of that, were one time over there being called a good dude. Being over there don't make you a good dude. Being over there don't make you a bad dude. That's just the bottom line. Being over there don't make you dangerous, and being over there don't make you a pussy. Okay? So why in the world Dubs wouldn't embrace the fact that, yeah, I was over here, I got in a little bit of trouble, I didn't want to die there, so I went over here. I shouldn't have been over here. I didn't like the reason I was over there, and it doesn't sit well with me. and just own it, man. Own it. Now you're out, you're changing, you're trying to do the right thing, and how everybody says you're trying to help people. First of all, take denial management. Because if you can get past that, then you could admit to yourself what's going on. And once you admit it, you can embrace it, own it, step up to it, and everybody will respect you more. And you'll always have these hard-nosed wannabe motherfuckers that ain't never been nowhere that'll get on there and play keyboard warrior and talk shit. I'm learning this. This is one of the biggest lessons I've learned, is that who are these yo-yos? Nobody. Who are they going to be when they grow up? Nobody. And so people that say, oh, Ronnie, you went negative and now it's so disgusted, we'll be disgusted with it. Check this out. Going negative sometimes brings the funding that helps me go positive with them guys that really need the help. So you don't have to like it. You don't even have to respect it. And you don't even have to subscribe to this channel. You can beat it. All right. I told you guys from the rip that I will be straight up with you and honest with you no matter what, no matter how it went. And that's who and what I am. I'm not ashamed of me. I'm pretty happy with the guy that I look at in the mirror right now. There are people that are out of prison and doing good and working and staying out because of me. I got them out. I changed them with my programs in ways that their old ladies are loving it. Their kids got their dads home and all of that. And if you can't get behind that, then get behind something else. Get behind some local bullshit. All right. Some premise that being GP makes you tough, being SNY makes you a sissy, because that is not how it works. And there's a bunch of people that are coming up short because that's their mentality and that's the way they think. So people ask me, Ronnie, are you NLR? You better fucking damn well believe I am. I'm a new low rider. We embrace some of our original ways because that's our get down. That's our stilo. That's what we like to do. That's who we are. We like to low ride. We like to dress a particular way. We carry ourselves in a particular way. And I don't care whose culture it is, was, where it started, how it came to be. I enjoy it. I like it. And I'm going to be it. And so are a lot of other people that are coming my way right now, these writers and everything, saying, Ronnie, I never did like what they did to the part Mexicans that were writers, to the Native Americans that were writers, and stripped them of their shit after they earned it like they did. And some of them dudes viciously earned it and fought to keep it from happening too. They didn't just say, oh, okay, here you go and lay down. No, some of them dudes got with it, And for those dudes, my utmost, man, comes out to you. My utmost respect. So is the ride still a factor? The ride is still a factor. They never weren't a factor, okay? Out of all the gangs in the California system, only 5 of them ever became eligible to receive the RICO. They don't just pass the RICO out without evidence and all of this. In order to classify a prison tip as being eligible for the RICO, there has to be a lot of evidence behind it. And the only 5. So you got the big 5. It used to be the big 4, you got the big 5, right? So you got the MA. All right. You got the NF, the Nuestra Familia. You got the BGF. You got the Aryan Brotherhood, and the Nazi lowriders were the last ones to get hit with that. Nobody else is getting hit with it right now. There's been a couple of, I think maybe 18th Street as an individual might have got hit. Hoover might have got hit with it. There's a couple of individuals, but they weren't hit as a prison tip, as a prison gang. They were hit on the streets with the RICO as an organization, an organized crime, but not as a prison gang. And, so anyways, I hope that clarifies some things. It gives you an idea of my get down. I own it. I'm proud of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the broken road that led me right here to you. Right. And that's our get down. So here's the thing. I'm done with dubs. Done with that get down. I understand that some of you love that guy to death. So there's got to be some good in him somewhere, because there's no way that somebody could love somebody pure evil that fucking much. So there's some good in there somewhere. Cling to that. Hopefully that's the part that takes over. As for the rest of it goes, I'm not addressing that dude anymore. I did what I did. I addressed his video. I addressed all of that, and now I'm moving on. So let me tell you what I'm moving on to. Tomorrow I go in and I meet with the lottery commission, and I get my license to run raffles, right? As a nonprofit, and I was gonna run that donated Chevy and rebuild it and all of that, and I still will, but that's going to take a while. So I think what I'm going to do is I know for sure I'm going to raffle a brand new Harley Davidson. I know that for sure. That'll be happening. Those raffle tickets will be $10 a piece. I'm going to run a brand new Harley Davidson. I'm at least going to have 3 prizes. The second prize will probably be $2,500 shopping spree. In other words, I can't give you cash because you're limited to 1,000. So $2,500, you can buy what you want for that price. You win that raffle, you win that drawing on that raffle, you get that $2,500, name what you want bought. And then third prize, third place will be $1,000 cash. And those 3 will be there. But there might be more because I'm getting at places to donate things too that I can raffle off. I have to have the license because I'm not a tennis shoe raffling kind of guy. Go big or go home, right? I want you guys to be able to get some. And what's going to happen here is because I'm licensed. So I'm being watched by the lottery commission on how I do things, and that things are kept above board. And what will happen is after all the raffle tickets have been sold and moved and they're out there, we'll go live. And these raffle tickets will be done in a way that in other words, there'll be 4 numbers. When you buy a raffle ticket, you'll have 4 numbers. Starts with 1 and goes through 4. Okay? Every configuration possible of them 4 numbers will be owned and passed out and sold before the raffle takes place. Okay, so that means that no matter what, there's going to be winners. It's not a lottery, it's a raffle. There's going to be winners. So if your numbers, so we'll have the balls like the lottery, they'll pop up. And it won't just be, there'll be 4 of each ball in there. Okay, dropped in there. You see them all drop in there. So they'll come up, and if your 4 numbers hits, bam, you get that Harley Davidson. Your 4 numbers hit, $2,500 free. Name what you want, we buy it. Third one, your numbers come up, $1,000. And guess what? In this thing, because all the balls go back into the funnel again, one ticket could win all 3. So you could have the trifecta. So that's coming. That's what's happening. I go in tomorrow to get licensed, putting the whole thing together. I'm getting the stuff that they require me to have. It takes 30 days after you put in for the license for them to check things out and do all of that. They come look at what you're doing, look at your nonprofit. They look at all that stuff, and then they license you. But I had a big meeting with the woman today, and I was already informed that it's a go for me. I just got to wait the 30-day process. So next month I'll be licensed to do it. But in the meantime, she informed me that I can go ahead and start getting ready. It's not going to be a no. So I can start doing things, getting the prize stuff together, Harley Davidson, pictures of it on the screen and all of that, what's going to happen. And they're going to be $10 a ticket. I have to set up on my website so that people can buy tickets, or I'll have to set up a phone number that they can call into and get recorded for their tickets, and they get mailed their stub and they get put down there on as having that ticket. I'm figuring it all out right now, but that's what's coming down the pipe. And this time it'll be a Harley Davidson, $2,500, $1,000, and maybe a few other prizes. Next time it's going to be maybe a $50,000 truck, $60,000 truck, or brand new off the fucking chart, maybe $100,000 truck. I don't know. I'm doing the Harley Davidson and everything first because it's a little smaller, a little easier to deal with, and it's also good prizes. So the lottery's coming, man, and that stuff right there is all going to help kids stay out of prison. It's going to help maybe your homeboy get out of prison and stay out of prison. And that's what I'm really about at the end of the day. I'm also going to bring you some word on the Hawaiian culture thing. I talked to my brother-in-law, and he wasn't able to call in because some emergency stuff happened, and he had to take off and go do something. Respectable, I understand that. And we're going to set up a date for him to do this with me, and then we're going to set up a date once a week where we go Hawaii live, or maybe every other week. And we go to the islands and we talk to people, and they can call in and they can ask questions and whatnot. And he'll be on there with us with Hawaii Live, and that'll be our get down there. So, guys, thanks for listening. Hit like, hit subscribe, and hit hype, and we'll talk to you again the next time.